Hello and welcome along to Aston Villa from the stands. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button and get involved in the chat, whether you're watching live and direct right now or if you're on replay. We've got a lot to discuss. The fallout of PSG last night. Of course, Aston Villa crashed to a 3-1 defeat in the Parc des Princes. But there's been a lot of interesting comments since that game and since that. And the one that I'm going to be looking at today is Emmanuel Petit's comments on Emi Martinez, claiming and calling him a psycho, which is quite a bold statement. So, of course, Emi Martinez forever living rent-free in these French heads. Second of all, we're going to talk about the fact that these Aston Villa players still believe, Unai Emery still believes, Konsa, Martinez, Cash, they've all said it. They've all came loud and clear that these Villa players still believe. And finally, PSG want Rashford. It can't have been off that performance last night, surely. We'll also get your thoughts and opinions on who performed well last night against PSG. Of course, we had the backlash of yesterday. Don't always like to react straight away, but we are here now reacting. So big up to everyone. Make sure you're smashing the like button. Make sure you're showing the support and love for the video. And of course, get your thoughts, feelings, and emotions across to me. So I'm going to get the Emmanuel Petit comments up right now. And I want to know what you guys make of it. I want to know what you guys make of it. And let me know if you're in the live chat right now, live and direct, ready to get involved. So Emmanuel Petit, obviously a French World Cup winner, played for Arsenal. Actually too sure what Emmanuel Petit is doing with his time as such right now. But here we are having his vocalized opinions on Emi Martinez. And I sometimes think, is there any need for ex-pros or ex-players to do such a thing? What is he trying to achieve? Is this going to stir the pot? Is this going to rattle Emi Martinez? Is it going to improve PSG's fortunes, in the second leg? We'll have to see. But this is what Emmanuel Petit has said. So here it is. Big up to everyone in the chat as well. Big up to my mum and dad, as always, showing the support. Big up to Cool Boys, who says, evening, Mr. Josh. Big up to you. Big up to Andy Brogan. He is the world's #1. Absolutely. And if you haven't already, guys, go on Twitter and share the stream about by retweeting the post. That would be much appreciated as well. So look, these are the comments by Emmanuel Petit. Emmanuel Petit said, Emi Martinez, I think he's a very good goalkeeper and he doesn't need to give himself extreme motivation. But everywhere he goes, he leaves an exasperating image of his behaviour. Wow. Okay, so there's a few digs coming out here already. So, look, yeah, he wants to credit his goalkeeping attributes and ability. But what we've got here right now from Emmanuel Petit is that last line there, which we're going to divulge into a little bit more. He says, but everywhere he goes, he leaves an exasperating image of his behaviour. Damn. That is a damning statement. And look, what he's trying to refer to is the fact that Emi Martinez rocked up to Paris with an Argentinian flag bleached into his hair. And, of course, he had an Argentinian cap as well. Now, I've actually seen some Villa fans disappointed in Emi Martinez and that sort of behaviour. I've actually seen some Villa fans try and call out Emi Martinez and say, the World Cup's done and dusted, mate. You've done your bit. You've been the hero. We all recognise that. But this was Aston Villa you were representing yesterday. This was Aston Villa Football Club, and it wasn't Argentina. So there are some Villa fans who have called that. And I think that's what Emmanuel Petit is referring to. Not Emi Martinez's conduct, but the way that Emi Martinez represented himself by wearing and donning the Argentinian kit. So as Cool Boy says, for me, it's harmless banter. And I think you're right. I think it's harmless wind-up merchant banter. I think the world's gone pretty nuts if you can't have a laugh and joke anymore. A little bit of rivalry, a little bit of tongue-in-cheek gestures. It's not like he's being, abusive. It's not like he's waving his middle finger out. It's not like he's being racist, homophobic, etc. He's actually just donning his nation's colours just to remind the French. So, as I said, I'll repeat that. Emmanuel Petit has come out and said that everywhere he goes, he's leaving an exasperating image of his behaviour. Well, let's look at the follow-up bit then. Let's look at the follow-up part, because this is what he then goes on to say. Emmanuel Petit further goes on to make these comments. Big up to everyone in the chat. Make sure you're running up the likes on this stream right now. Run them up for me and see how you're doing. Meeks is absolutely right. It's a bunch of snowflakes. it is a bunch of snowflakes in that sense, that they can't take a harmless joke about Emi Martinez, gone in the Argentinian colours. Big up to Zudazan as well. Said, evening. Absolutely still believe this team has proven under Unai they are not out until it's over. And whilst, yes, we're underdogs even more so now, and the boys play their hearts out, exactly. My dad said, if it gets into opponent's head of joke, I get it. This year becomes when it motivates the opposition. I don't know. I don't know how much it will have, but clearly it's in Emmanuel Petit's head. Big up to Vamos VJ in the house as well. Martinez has never abused the French one. They abused him first and still do. It's true. He had his hair done before the international break, so there we go. It wasn't even purposely done for PSG, which was just the hat. So thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Look, here we go. Look at this then. Emmanuel Petit goes one step further, and I'm not even joking. He actually, I see this as him calling him a psycho. Whether you like it or not, this is for me, Emmanuel Petit calling Emi Martinez a psycho. He recently said in an interview that he never goes too far. The boy needs to undergo psychotherapy, to see a psychiatrist, because we don't have the same definition of what is out of bounds. This guy, frankly, needs to learn to control himself emotionally. My gosh. Let's just break this down one more time. First thing I don't like is that he calls him the boy. So he says he recently said in an interview that he never goes too far. The boy. I'm sorry, but for me, Emi Martinez is far from a boy. Emi Martinez is far from, a boy character. If you're talking about maybe a Morgan Rogers or a Jacob Ramsey, I might hear that phrase, the kid, the boy. What I'm looking at is Emi Martinez as being called the boy. It's nothing short of a tongue-in-cheek disgrace from Emmanuel Petit. So that's the first part. So let's go to there again. Second part then. And remember, this is just all over wearing a flimsy Argentinian hat. This is wearing an Argentinian hat, and it's got to Emmanuel Petit like this. He says, he needs to undergo psychotherapy, to see a psychiatrist, because we don't have the same definition of what is out of bounds. Again, what is Emmanuel Petit on about? Out of bounds. You're telling me that behaviour is out of bounds. You're crazy. You're absolutely crazy, Emmanuel Petit, yourself. And then this guy, frankly, needs to learn to control himself emotionally. So, look, whether it's wound up the French or whether or not, and it's motivated them, I don't know. But certainly there's too much focus on Emi Martinez's antics. There's too much focus on, what Emi Martinez is doing. And quite frankly, I don't get it. I actually don't get it. I don't get it. So, yeah, I want to know why. I want to know why Emmanuel Petit has had this scathing attack on Emi Martinez. And for me, once again, if I'm Emi Martinez, this will be motivating me in the next time. This will be absolutely motivating me to go and put two fingers up to them and go, do you know what? Have some of this. If you want to be this salty about it, then let's see. So look, I just think that riled me up seeing that. I thought, you've gone a little bit too far, Emmanuel Petit. You've gone a little bit too far, and I think you need to calm yourself down. So that is the comments there. Now, let's have a look at the backlash of yesterday. And first of all, let's go to Unai Emery. Let's go to Unai Emery and his thoughts on yesterday. Look, one of the key comments is there's been a lot of, ifs, buts, maybes. What does Unai feel? I think this was one of the key points that you can take away from Unai Emery yesterday in there. So, but big up to PC in the house as well. Big up to you said, all right, everyone, you're right. These French need to come up and say, do. We need to get at them. We really do. So footballers can't be passionate. Exactly. Cool boys. Exactly. Basically, Emmanuel Petit is trying to be the celebration police, the dress code police, the partisan police, whatever you want to call it. And I just think, do one. As Meek says, we should all wear Argentina colours for the second leg. I'm feeling that. I am actually feeling that. And it's a good point. Will he say the same about Thierry Henry, the handball? Absolutely not, will he? So there. When we advance on Tuesday, I hope we will see it. What does that stand for? What does that stand for, PC? But there we go. Zulazan, a legend. So, First of all, Unai's comments here. He said the following. We're very proud of everyone supporting Aston Villa. Prince William, the supporters, all supporters living in 1982, and the younger supporters. We're going to try and have one special day at Villa Park. They know it. They absolutely know it. They know it. They know it. They know it. They know that this game is all down to that Villa Park tie. And I think ever since these Champions League draws have taken place, where it's been Club Brugge or whether it's been this one now, we all knew that playing the second leg at home was going to be vital for Aston Villa. Exactly what we dreamt of, exactly what we needed. Play the second leg at home. Play the second leg at home and let us develop into that. Now, the only problem is that the second leg at home being 2-1 would have been delightful. 3-1 is a little bit more of an uphill task. But there is no doubt about it. Reading the interview and comments today, there is a massive belief from the Villa players that they can still do it. And I'll say it again. Look at Unai Emery here. We're going to try and have one special day at Villa Park. Now, already, if you create that momentum in your head that you're going to do something special, that you're going to go out on that pitch and give something that no one has ever seen before, then you know it. You know it. And look, here's some more comments. Here's Matty Cash this time. Matty Cash. We knew coming here it was going to be tough. I thought we defended the box really well. I thought at the end we were unfortunate and unlucky to concede. We have Villa Park next game. I think it will be a different game. So again, Matty Cash, again, in that same bracket here, in that same bracket, we have Villa Park next game. I think it'll be a different game. Why are these players in such big belief of what Villa Park is? Why are they so adamant that playing at Villa Park is going to be the cauldron? There's got to be some mental state. And I can tell you that mental state. 17 games unbeaten at Villa Park this season in all competitions. 17 games in a row. 4 clean sheets in the Champions League at home this season. There's a reason why these players are talking like this. There's a reason why these players are building up such confidence in these sort of scenarios and settings. And that's because they know how good it is to play at Villa Park. So that was Matty Cash again. Look, further comments. And I said it's very interesting to get the mindset of the players. They're not all going. And you know what? It would be, it would be difficult to a player to come out and go, do you know what? The game's done. You wouldn't like it if a Villa player came out and said, look, the game's done. We're not here. We're not getting it done. Dusted. No, they're talking with confidence, and we have to respect and rate that. Look at Luca Dean again. He says this. By the way, everyone, as Vamos VJ said, let's have some likes. Let's run those likes right up for me, please. I would appreciate it. Yeah, do share the stream around as well. Luca Dean, it's up to us to do the work in the return leg. We'll obviously have to rediscover ourselves a little bit more, but it's still possible, and we'll do everything we can to achieve it. I love it. I love reading these comments there. I love that there's this humble nature from the players, but also because they know what to expect. Again, Luca Dean here tells us about the game plan. It was our game plan to defend deep, and we managed to open the scoring at the start, which was the hardest thing to do. We're playing against a great team. So again, I think you and I all knew that Villa were going to park that bus. I think we knew we were trying to defend compact. I think we knew that we were going to try and minimise PST to as many opportunities as possible. And Luca Dean even said that Villa done the hardest thing, which was go and score. The biggest issue still is that we conceded those 3 goals. And if it wasn't for Emi Martinez, it probably would have been a few more. However, let's run this up a bit more. We have to respect the fact that we didn't defend as well as we could have, so we conceded 3 goals. And that is probably the difference, really, is that those goals that we conceded were horrible ones. Horrible ones. Again, final little insight, because you love to know every comment. I'm obsessed with these Villa interviews. I like to know exactly the mindset and exact thoughts. Mike Cass says, the manager spoke in there, and he said, it's only half time. At home, we are really strong. We are more than capable to score 2 or 3 game goals at home. We'll learn from it, and we'll move on. Belief. This dressing room is full of belief. And for me, when I hear my players do that, that's why I'm asking you guys, do you still believe? Do you still believe in this group of players, because why not? If they believe him, then why can't we? And that's where I'm probably at with this Villa team right now. Is unfortunately we made hard work of the occasion conceding that third goal. And as Jason Powell, big up to Jason, he said that late third goal was done for us, I'm afraid. And that's fair enough. Cool Boy said, do you think last night would have been the perfect evening for Duran? We needed a wonder shot, certain moments, similar to Bayern, we will never know. It's true, we'll never know. But at the end of the day, I also think the way we set up, Duran, isn't set for that counter-attack, so I don't think so. Get the first goal early on, I think they'll get nervous, especially with Fire Villa Park. Let's believe exactly. And that's one of my key points, is that whether you like it or not, if you're at Villa Park for the game and you're fortunate enough, you have to be the 12th man. There's no doubt about it. What do we see from Unai Emery constantly when he does his post-match interviews or pre-game interviews? He always, the first line of everything, he says his hellos or his good evenings, and he says, thank you to the supporters. The supporters were incredible. Or, we need the supporters. And basically what he says is, the better the support, the players feed off that energy, they transmit off the energy, and they deliver an unbelievable performance. So I think for me that while the game plan probably was to start be in the tie with a goal deficit or so, we've got a bit of a second goal, the 2 goals, to try and, contain. Score the first and anything can happen. And anything is possible, as Mum said. And look, what was said here as well was Nuno Mendes, their left back. He actually said this, and I think, again, when you hear an opposition player and see some sort of humble nature, you actually think, okay, respect in that sense. So Nuno Mendes, who, by the way, scored that incredible third goal for them. And what I'm saying about that third goal is, you've got to remember, this guy was a left back, okay? And he sold Ezri Konsa and he sold Emi Martinez with a shot. Now, you'd expect him as a left-footed player to take that left-footed shot, but he didn't. He chopped on his right, and it was a very well-taken third goal. But he said this. This is what Nuno Mendes said. This third goal gives us a lot more confidence. Yeah, we feel that. We can feel that. A 2-goal advantage is good, but we have to continue. 2 goals is nothing. If they score in the first half, it will be difficult because they will be at home. So if I want to go into my psychology and I want to look at, again, the mindset, the PSG players, the message is there, isn't it? The message is clear that they know if we score first, it's an uphill battle for them. It's going to be a tough tie. And so we all know that. The cliche is that we have to score the first goal. But the only worry is that we've seen with Villa is, like we did against Forest, it's all well and good scoring early and then going to get another. Can we maintain it, or would our performance drop off? Forest was a clear example. We scored 2 goals in 2 minutes, got on the front foot. We basically felt like we'd won the game in that space of time. And then we have those performance drop-offs. What if Villa go and score 2 quick goals in the first 20 minutes against PSG at home? What if we do that? Then how do we manage the rest of the game? And I want to know your thoughts in the comments right now. Do you expect Villa to be a lot more aggressive at Villa Park? Do you expect us to be on the front foot? Do you expect us to probably attack a little bit more and see the likes of Asensio play? Or do you see us trying to employ the same tactics at home but create more from them, which is basically defend deep, hit on the counter? For me, I think Unai's probably biggest frustration yesterday was that though we defended deep, we did not create enough counter-attacking situations. We did not create enough counter-attacking situations. And that was where my issue lay, is that when we did enter PSG's final third, and the rare times, I still think we looked threatening. We just didn't do it enough. And that's what upset me. So, yeah, we'd love to know your predominant thoughts on that, people, as well. But yeah, I want to know your thoughts and feelings on that one, especially the fact that Unai Emery is going to have to conjure up a new game plan. So we can do it. We need the 12th man, exactly that, the Villa lad, and that is going to be the Villa faithful. Clean sheets have been a problem all season. So my sort of holding on factor to that is we have had 4 clean sheets at home in the Champions League this season. 4 clean sheets, 4 strong performances, and we have beaten Bayern Munich at home, keeping a clean sheet. Bayern Munich, same stages of this competition as Villa, still a giant, still a good side, and we managed to beat them. Cool Boy said, I'm not sure if we are a 90-minute team yet. No, we're not, but we need to find a way. FA Cup final any day is coming, hopefully that one. And as Vamos Vija said, the first goal is essential. Please hit the like and subscribe as well, and turn the notification bell on. As I said, my commitment to this channel is to go live at 7 p.m. every day. And if the more success on that, then we can start to have 2 lives a day. One in the morning, especially coming into the summer with Transfer Central. That's what we're looking to do. So, leaving Sarti exposed in 1-1 situations was our mistake. He needed some cover. Also, Console's our best defender. One runs, the decision was crazy. Meeks is still feeling like me. Axel Disasi put on a disaster class, potentially has cost us. He is at fault in terms of the second goal, and I think he put a lot of nerves into that Villa back line. But ultimately, it is the manager who makes those decisions. It is the manager who selected him. And we probably have to look at the manager in that sense. We have to look at the manager. That's where I'm at with that. That's where I'm at with that. But yeah, big up to everyone. Hope you're well. Hope you're good. Thank you for tuning in today. I'd love to know your thoughts. Let's go to some more comments because we've got a lot to get through. I like to listen to what people say in the comments. How will they win it? Well, it's going to take a few factors for me. It's going to take a different tactical approach from Unai Emery. It's going to take a belief, a mental state that is strong. It's going to take a bit of fortune, and it's going to take a hero. There is someone out there who could be a hero for Aston Villa and carve their name into history. There could be that, we talked about it, I think this was a week or two ago, about Tyrone Mings. Talked about the fact that these players want to win a trophy for Aston Villa because they want a statue. They want that cult hero status. They want a legacy. Well, tell you what, who wants to be a hero at Villa Park? Who wants to have their name sung from the rafters, being talked about on every media journal, have their goal replayed after replay, or their save, or their block, or their tackle? Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. My heart says we can come back, but realistically, my head says no matter what they do, they're a level above. I think you're right. I think we have to respect that we've played a quality opposition, a good attacking opposition. I still think we gave their midfield too much respect as well. I don't think their midfield is as good as people are making out. And I think we need to hurt their midfield. I think we need to really hurt their midfield. And so I expect a raise in performance in that sense. Anthony Clark, Josh, I believe Villa can come back to win it. I love that, Anthony. Keep that. Need to play the flanks and have Mings and Constance in the middle of defence. That's the back of 2 I want as well. And there we go. Here's a good statistic. Not lost at home in the Champions League, only drew once, and we've got Southampton in the league next. Cool boys. Let's not make fools of ourselves. Wolves reject in the midfield. Youngster from Portugal, and a player that highlights of career was Europe. If we had more belief to fight in that midfield, exactly that. We gave their midfield too much respect, in my honest opinion, too much respect. And I think we needed to get into them a lot more. I don't think you can play McGinn, Tillemans and Kamara. I actually think you need a bit more either guile in Asensio or Morgan Rogers centrally to have more technical, or you go for Nana with a bit of power. Either way, though, you have to chop and change it up. You have to change that sort of approach up, in my opinion. So, yeah. But big up everyone in the house. Thank you for tuning in. As I said, please do make sure you are smashing the like button. We should be on 20 likes by now easily, so please make sure to do that. James is in the house. Good to see you. Ty, honestly, I think we have hit our level, but strangely still believe we can take them to penalties next week. We've excelled ourselves already. Up the Villa, I'm proud. I love that last bit. I'm proud. Look. Trying to win 2-0 against PSG and going to penalties could be something. We have to ask ourselves first and foremost, do we believe we can keep a clean sheet in the Champions League against these lot? We have had 4 clean sheets, and as I forgot who put it in the comments, we have a fantastic record in the Champions League this season. We haven't lost at home yet in the Champions League. So we have to hold on to that one. Have to hold on to that one. For me, it's a massive factor. Emery's always bottles big games. Well, let's see. If the third didn't go and we'd be in a whole different situation, I think there'd be even more belief. I think there'd be even more belief if that third hadn't gone in. But it is what it is. Is that definitely confirmed, cool boys? Because if so, then that is why we have to focus on the weekend. We have to focus on beating Southampton away. Don't just because that Southampton team is one of the worst Southampton teams ever, don't just think we can rock up and beat them. Like, we still have a league campaign to fight for. We still have to turn up. Yeah, Morgan Rogers to be that hero. Dibu is our hero. He absolutely is. Why should it be easier? If you want to be the best, you have to beat the best. We can do it. Love that energy. It'd be interesting to see how PSG fans turn up at Villa Park as well. I agree. So there we go. Love it. Either Dibu or Morgan will be the hero. Big up to Fraser. Look, Jacob Ramsey, I don't want to see him start next game in the Champions League. I actually think that we have to go a little bit more technical at Villa Park. I want to know what's going on with Leon Bailey. I'm interested. I felt, as Meeks has sort of alluded to, we lacked so much width. Do you know what as well? Ian Maatson on that left wing. Quite like it. Quite like it. And what do we do about the number 9? Is Rashford going to be our number 9 in that game as well? I would play Yuri and Onana. Yes, I agree. How about some love for McGinn's tackle and that whole sequence that George scoring positive? And yeah, it was a brilliant, absolute brilliant tackle. And I think McGinn's engine was really good. But what I'm looking at against PSG at home, PC, is now technicality. I'm looking for technical players to break down PSG and really show their class. And I think that if you've got a choice between McGinn or Asensio, I think we're all choosing Asensio, aren't we? Yeah, I think we have to believe that, Asensio could be the answer. I think Asensio has to be the answer for me. And why not? How much would John Duran if he didn't leave? John Duran again. Who knows if we had him as our 9 at Villa Park, but we can't hold on to a player who's left us. John Duran is a nobody to me anymore. He's the guy who gave us some money to fund transfers, but for me, a genuine nobody now. Watkins did it for England, could do it for Villa. Got to start on versus the Saints. And if he scores, go on a run. Exactly. I think that is a really good point. Yes, I like it. I think you're right. I think Watkins, let's start him. Let's get him his goal. And then let's get him coming off a goal scorer from Southampton into the Champions League. Why not? Why absolutely not? Marcus Rashford then. This report came up today. And look, this guy has always been linked to PSG. And again, I think there is a real fascination in Marcus Rashford to PSG. Whether it has weight, you have to know, but it's the top French journalist, Le Quip, who have said this on Marcus Rashford. Paris Saint-Germain are set to enter the race for Marcus Rashford. It's understood that PSG sporting director Luis Campos has been in contact with Rashford's camp over a potential move. Now, watching Marcus Rashford and watching that PSG side yesterday, can you see a position where Marcus Rashford plays at PSG? Does he suit their style of play? Well, if you look at the directness of their wingers in Kvaratskhelia, in Doué, in Barcola, in Zakiri Emery, I'm not going to lie, Rashford to PSG does fit. It does fit. With Dembele as well, he fits. He fits. And so I'm looking at that going, okay, let it quit. They've reported that. I've always said this. I don't see Aston Villa signing Marcus Rashford on a permanent. I don't see it. I don't think that is feasible. I don't think Villa will ever go for Marcus Rashford in that sense. And so I think when you look at that link of PSG, I see it personally. I do see it. My only sort of interest on that would be again, Marcus Rashford, a little bit of an audition. He did okay. Oh, bloody hell. He did okay against PSG yesterday. Was starved of a bit of service. But I want to know what we do with Rashford. Do we continue to play him as this number 9, or do we play him out wide? Mixer says he wants to see Rashford on the wing, Rodgers on the 10, and Asensio on the 9. Would be interesting on that one. Ollie, Marcus, and Rashford could be top front three. It'd be a good combination there. And apparently it said Liam Delap has release clause of 30-minute Ipswich. Yeah, already Chelsea and Man United are drawing their lips over that sort of proposition. So we'll have to see. But look, Marcus Rashford and Ollie Watkins conundrum is a big one for me, because you're basically asking, and you're basically saying, we now don't know who our number 9 is going to be each game. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. I felt that we were very comfortable in a situation where we knew Watkins was always our 9, that we trusted Watkins, the players knew what to expect. Now it's a bit like, we had John Duran and we had that sort of element of it. Now it's a bit like, is it Ollie Watkins or is it Marcus Rashford? Personally, for me, Rashford was the right choice yesterday, but now I'm all aboard the Ollie train. I want to see Watkins start against Southampton, and I want to see Ollie start against PSG at home. This guy needs that chance. He needs that energy, and I think he will give us a performance that will please us, in my opinion, that will please us. So, yeah, I know people will fluctuate on Ollie Watkins. Some people love him, some people hate him, yada, yada, yada. Essentially, for me, he's our number 9. He's our goal scorer. Let's give him a chance, and Southampton at home is the big one. So, look, PSG, go have Rashford. But Zulazan said PSG don't need him. Look at them. That's true. I think he fits well, though. But that's not to say that one of their players could leave in the summer. I mean, that Doué, jeez Louise. What a talent he is, by the way. What an absolute talent he is. And, yeah, that's where I'm at. How many times do we try and fail? What thing is, though, last season, he saved us. This season, he's been hit and miss. I just think, Meeks, now is the time for Ollie. Now is the time for Ollie. We need him. We need him. Maybe. But again, I will always listen to you as well. And I think that his missed chances have hurt us in games. And will he continue to miss those chances? I like that PC. Remind us of the 3-0. Marlon was in red hot against Forest. It's pity he's not available in Champions League. Probably one of Villa's worst mistakes is allowing Don Marlon to not be in that Champions League squad, if I'm honest. Just because it's another attacking option with no Bailey in sight at all. So, yeah. But look, at the end of the day, a Villa, Champions League, anything can happen. The focus will switch and turn to Southampton on Saturday now. And that's a massive thing, really, to think about. How do you as Villa players go from the high of playing at the Parc des Princes, playing in a raucous Champions League quarter-final, to then reset, come home, and go to St Mary's and play against an already relegated Southampton? Do you think that this Southampton side, now they're officially relegated, will all of a sudden start playing? They have sacked their manager, or do you think the players are on the beach? I always worry about that when you play a relegated team already, when the season's still there. Will they be on the beach, or are they relegated? And I've got a bit of fight about them. Has anyone ever told you that like Matty Cash? No. No, they haven't. That'll be a first. But people, I'm going to bow out of it. I think, as I said, I'll read some of your last few comments. I think that we'll be gearing up again tomorrow and Saturday for the big game day. Games come thick and fast. But as always, thank you to you guys who are here. Obviously, as I said, I'm trying to grow these 7 p.m. shows. So make sure you smash that notification bell. That's the big one. If your notification bell's on, then you'll know when we're going live. So appreciate it. So what have we got here quickly? We've got Zuda-san said he was absolutely up front alone yesterday, had very little possession. But let's just remember the build-up for a goal. McGinn, Rashford, and Rodgers, ball was through, was good. Exactly. I agree on that. Spot on. Thomas Tuchel will be watching Ollie for 3 lines, and if he can't perform Villa in Europe in big moments, then Tuchel won't be interested. Exactly. Ollie already missed it on the last England squad, and he's got to sort it out now, hasn't he? Play McGinn and Booba. Play McGinn with Booba and push Tielemans further up. Interesting. I'm interested to know the lineup for sure. Right, gang, we are bowing out of here. I want to say big up to Ty, to Cool Boys, to Zulazan, to Dor, to Meeks, to PC, to Ty, to Rajat, to Villafan, to PC, to Jamesy, to VJ, the Villa lad. Big up to Fraser as well. Big up to my mum and dad. Big up to anyone else who's been listening in, whether it's just in the background or in the comment section. I appreciate you. We go again. Let's get this PSG game out of mind. It's all focused now on Southampton. And Emmanuel Petit, you need to get your head sorted. You absolute weirdo. I'm out of here. Big up the ABFTS clan. See you on the other side. Ta